This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We go now to Washington State, where hundreds of undocumented immigrants are on hunger strike to protest the conditions and extremely low wages at the for-profit immigrant prison, the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma. On Thursday morning, activists say women imprisoned within the prison joined the strike, which now includes more than 700 immigrants, or about half the population of the for-profit prison. Hunger strikers are demanding better food, hygiene, medical care within the prison, which is owned by the major private prison corporation GEO Group. Organizers say prisoners have also launched work stoppages to protest the fact they're paid only $1 a day to cook, to clean, to do laundry necessary to keep the prison running. GEO Group is facing a class-action lawsuit arguing the company violates federal anti-slavery laws at its Aurora, Colorado prison, where it also pays only $1 a day. This is an audio recording of hunger striker Jonathan Rodriguez Guzman. Listen closely.
My name is Jonathan Rodriguez Guzman, and I would just like to let people know that I'm doing the hunger strike, just not for me, but for everybody out there in the future.
The strike began on Monday at noon, with more than 100 prisoners refusing to eat lunch. Since then, activists have been supporting the hunger strikers with an ongoing 24-hour encampment outside the Tacoma jail. The strikes come as Attorney General Jeff Sessions traveled to the U.S.-Mexico border in Nogales, Arizona this week, where he met with U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents and vowed a major crackdown, calling immigration, quote, an attack on our national security. Immigration advocates say the Trump administration's crackdown against immigration and immigrants living within the United States has led to more immigrants being imprisoned at jails, including at the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma. On Thursday, the New York Times reported in its scramble to find new places to house immigrants arrested in ICE raids, the Trump administration's trying to curtail protections for immigrants being held in county jails, including doing away with the requirement that immigrants have access to translation services. For more, we're joined by two guests. Mauro Mora Villalpando is an activist and undocumented immigrant with the group Northwest Detention Center Resistance and the group Mi Gente. And Alexis Erickson is the partner of hunger striker Christian Lopez. Christian was part of the hunger strike in the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma before he was transferred to a jail in New Mexico, where he's continuing the strike. He's facing deportation to Mexico. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Let us begin right now with Mauro Mora Villalpando. Tell us exactly what you understand is happening in Tacoma.
Well, we have now hundreds of people deciding to stop eating since Monday at noon. We had word from people in detention over the weekend that they were getting ready to do this hunger strike. We began with a few numbers. I mean, if you think about the maximum capacity, there are 1,575. And we know that it's over capacity. So when we heard that about 100 people, a little bit more than that, were getting ready to strike, we were there ensuring that we will support that. And throughout the week, we saw numbers increasing and increasing. More and more people start joining. Yesterday morning, we heard from the women's section saying that they were ready to also join the strike. And we heard from one of the areas that we had contact from the beginning that they were being threatened with being transferred to a county jail in Oregon, and therefore they decided to stop. But other pods continue joining, and so as of now, we believe we have about 700 people, maybe more than that. It's difficult sometimes to get communications from the inside. Even in one pod, people decided to add a work stoppage, and acknowledging that they are the backbone of that detention center. They also called for a boycott of the commissary and the telephones as well.
Alexis Erickson, tell us about Christian Lopez, your partner, who's on hunger strike and has been transferred now from the GEO prison to New Mexico.
Well, he was transferred about 3 days ago. On his way over there, he was treated wrong. He asked one guard that was an ICE guard that was on the bus with him if he speaks Spanish. They were just very rude to him. because he was asking for another guy that spoke Spanish only. When they got there, they said that they lost a lot of people's property, which was not true. He ended up getting his property a couple hours later, but he had to fight just to get his bags. They've just all been treated very wrong, and they said that there is a couple people where he is that are still doing the hunger strike.
Have you seen changes in the prison? How long has Christian Lopez been held there, and have you seen changes since the Trump administration took over?
He was put in Oregon in February. He did his 20 days he had to do. He was still stuck for another month before he even got switched to Tacoma. When he got switched to Tacoma, he got off the bus the first time and they put him right back on. He ended up going back to Oregon again because they just said your court date's revoked, so he had to come back again. He came back for his court date on April 6th, and he finally got deported 2 days ago, and he was treated really bad in the Tacoma facility.
You have how many children together? Are they American citizens?
3. Yes.
How old are they?
I have a 7-year-old, I have a 2-year-old, and an 8-month-old.
Maru Mora Villalpando, can you talk about the fact that this is a for-profit prison and what difference you think this makes? They're being sued under slavery, anti-slavery laws in Aurora, in a jail there. What about in Tacoma?
Yeah, we know this is one of the largest detention centers in the West Coast and the nation. They make a lot of money out of engaging our families in there, $165, I believe, per day per person. And the jobs that people are getting paid to do inside for $1 a day is not everything that they do inside. We have reports that people are asked to paint the walls or wax the floors in exchange for having a piece of chicken or a piece of candy. And sometimes not even that. They're just promised that, and that doesn't happen. We also have seen a lot of reports that the food is always bad, but sometimes it's not only that, it's the fact that the portions are getting smaller. And when people complain about that, GEO guards say, well, there's just too many of you. What do you want us to do?
We have to leave it there, but we're going to continue the conversation after the show and post it at democracynow.org. We're speaking with Maru Mora Villalpando with Northwest Detention Center Resistance and the group Mi Gente, and Alexis Erickson, whose partner is hunger striker Christian Lopez. As a result, he was sent to a New Mexico jail from Tacoma. That does it for our broadcast. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks so much for joining us.